Hey guys, welcome back. It's grimreaper coming at you for another video for Raidshadowlegends. Hopefully doing well, and hopefully you're looking after yourself and having a positive start to the week wherever you are. Monday is here, so it's a fresh week, and we're on the final week of the fusion. For what's going on. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the fusion. Hopefully you had a great weekend as well. So we're back on my account today. We're going to do a champion showcase. I'm going to talk about underrated epic that is actually fairly decent multipliers. Now this will be a bit of a long video as we're going to cover a few ways to build him. Now he's actually one of my favorite epics in the game. I think he's a bit underrated for sure, and I'll talk about why I feel like he's a bit underrated. I wanted to cover a epic that's a really old school epic about Jungle Hunter. A lot of people will say that he is basically trash and no good, and I think, to be honest, about 90% of the player base could get some use out of him. And I'm going to cover talk about a few areas as well today where I think you could get some use out of him, and where I actually use him as well, which we'll cover in today's video. Now we're going to go through his kit quickly. First of all, he has a speed aura in all battles by 24%, which is one of the biggest arena auras in the game when we're talking about epic champions overall. There isn't many champions who are epic that have that. He has fairly good base speed for an epic as well, and a reasonable stats as well. Now he does attack all enemies. It decreases the target's turn meter by 20% if this attack is a critical. So it should always be critical because it's AoE. And he is a NUKER end of the day, and it fills his champion's turn meter by 10% if this attack is a critical. So it's an extra way of just increasing his turn meter a little bit. This is on a 4-turn cooldown with some damage multipliers. Now he'll attack one enemy, has a 90% chance to freeze on all enemies if this kills a enemy, and this will go to 100%. It's also on a 3-turn cooldown as well, so pretty nice ability as well. He should be able to kill pretty standard as well. And they will attack one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 40% chance, booked up to a 50% chance to put a decreased speed for 2 turns if this attack is critical. Again, it should always be critical. This is kind of nice against bosses like Doom Tower and Faction Wars, where you can put the decreased speed and slow down the boss, and it's just a nice icing on the cake depending where you are in a game. Now we're going to go for a few areas where he is fairly good in. I want to talk about his multipliers first. So his A3 has a multiplier of a 3.8 multiplier, which is a strong multiplier, which is pretty decent. His A2 has a legendary multiplier of a 5.9 attack multiplier on that one, which is really solid. And then his A1 is just an average of a 1.2 on there as well. So decent multipliers on the A2, fairly standard on the A3, which is great. He's a tap based NUKER, and he is a Spirit Affinity. Spirit does let him down a little bit. Now where I use this champion most myself is I actually use him in Cursed City Soul Cross area. There is a couple of stages where I use him for that, and I have used him in Faction Wars on hard mode as well, where I've used him for the 3 stages. And now when we're talking about 3 stages, freeze for the high elves, he can be used for that as well. So as an in-game point of view, that is where you can get some use. Now if we look at the high elves and just going straight into this, and we're looking at the freeze, there isn't a lot of crazy free champions in the thingy. Now if you have a 6-star blessing as an in-game viable use, it's going to have a way more. So obviously you have Pixnil, we have a Zampler, which is not a great free champion in my opinion, because it's a single ability. So the best 2 free champions that are accessible for these trials is Raidblade and also Jungle Hunter. Now they have goods and bads about them. You could also team them together as well. There is a couple of ways of building them as well. And I think for early game arena or mid game arena, or even coming towards late game, you could use them in arena content as a NUKER, again depending on the blessings that you got and the empowerment. Now for mid game and early game, I think he'll be a great NUKER because he brings you a speed aura in all battles. He offers some CC as well, so you could use him as a 2nd tier NUKER. So first him and then some following behind him. And also he has a lot of good use in early game in 3 vs 3 and Siege as well. Offers some use there, and you can also use him for wave-based clearance. So for again Faction Wars normal And for Curse City, if you're trying to climb up and you want someone to nuke, but also offer some freeze, and you don't have like a crazy seer comp, which most people don't with resets, he could offer you some options there. So when you can always double dip and you can add some relics and stuff to juice him up. Now we'll cover relics and blessings and gear sets in when we're talking about the way that we're building. Now I wanted to build him with you guys overall. We're going to take him into arena. I'll build him for arena. We'll take him into Curse City as well. Actually, I don't know if Curse City is available, so we might have to check that one overall. So let me go ahead and see. It's normally roughly around about here. So yes, he's not available for this Curse City rotation, I don't think, because there is a couple of stages where I do use him overall, so there is some use there. So unfortunately we don't have the keys anyway to cover them there. Let me go ahead and build them up for some arena. We'll take them in arena, and faction wars is open today, so we will take them into faction wars as well. All right then, so we're gonna run him into arena. We'll show you what you can do in arena. Tried picking free-to-play champions as best as possible for today's video, because again, we're not talking about the highest end of arena, which is where I know I compete. We're talking about the lower end arena, just gold 5 basic farming. And again, I would only really kind of use him if you're like mid game, early game, and you're just trying to get some like knowledge out of a NUKER. Let's say you've got like a +4 fully awakened, you're gonna have extra stats. And again, he's also spirit NUKER. Song Wong is a bit outdated now, so you might not have a Song Wong available, and you just might want a spirit NUKER available. Again, the blessing would make a big shout for that overall, but let's just kind of showcase on what he can kind of do against the average gold 5 champions, I guess, right? Or NUKER, sorry. So you can see here, we're going to come in, we'll see his A2 first, because it is the godliker. We have got increased attack. Now I didn't go for anything fancy for his build. I just went savage build. I haven't gone for like stone skin or merciless or anything like that. I think it's got one merciless piece on him. So I haven't really tried to juice his build up or to make it look fancy. I haven't put a relic on him. I've kept it pretty standard as possible for the average viewer, which is a change for me. Just hold him back to make sure that his stats are not too insane. Obviously his stats are still quite good because my gear unfortunately is on a different level. However, I don't want to kind of make him like impossible and say, oh, if I put a uncommon champion in this type of gear, he's going to do the same, because it wouldn't be the case. But let's have a look at the numbers. We're going to go for Song Wong first. We got 117 there, and he's gone across the board there. Now he didn't crit on the other one, I guess, because we probably didn't have enough accuracy here, and you can see that we're probably weak hit there as well. So let's go back in and we'll see what the A2 can do as well. It's important to show what you can do with A2. Now again, I've kind of used CC champions who have been formal fusions in the past. I know Armand is a bit old now. I'm not gonna sit here and claim that he's free to play, because I know that people will get upset, and to be honest, someone will get upset anyway. But it will be one of them. Let's show the A3 then. And let's see what you can do here, because he's got AoE. And let's just go pop. 105 to 59 on the Pythian, which is not too shabby. And again, there is ways that you can increase his damage, which we'll talk about a bit later on when we'll talk about his video, when we are showcasing the build, etc. And then we're just going to go for the pop here, and then we get freezed on, or we get wanded, I guess, with the freeze. So that's a bit unfortunate. There's not much we can really do about that. So we just need to wait for the wand to kind of not ruin the showcase too much, you know. Let me sheep you. Our mads is what it is. There is a lot of forced nukers coming into the game now, so spirit nukers value has gone up. Carnage is probably the best one out there that I would recommend to use for most people for endgame, but he's a very difficult mythical to get your hands on. so I can kind of understand like people not having a lot of spirit nukers available. Mesmer is also top tier as well. I actually do have a Mesmer, but I don't use her because I use Carnage. Okay, so this is another, again, very standard team that you'll see in Classic Arena, nothing too special. You can definitely use Lady M with him as well. There's great synergy with Lady M with like the A1, and also the increased accuracy would be a massive thing for her, for him as well, to give him a bit more accuracy and you get a bit more value, especially if you don't have a Marius. And if you're watching this and think about using him as a nuker anyway, you probably don't have a Marius, because if you have a Marius, you're going to use him everywhere. Because again, Marius and Embrus are kind of the best two nukers at the moment. You can see there's a big old smackaroo there, which is pretty nice. Now the downside of him, he is going to be a bit more, he does decrease his own damage, right, as he lands that freeze. So that's something you'll need to take into consideration. Freeze just overall is not the best CC in the game because you are dropping some stuff on him. Sorry, the freeze just allows you to reduce your damage, which kind of sucks. So we should kind of change that about the freeze debuff, to be honest, because like there's no reason not to change it. So you can see there's another one. Obviously, we're not going to start taking on mythicals because he's not a champion that wants to take on mythicals. We have a Alice here, which again, if you're kind of considering using him, you probably do use like champions like Alice and etc., which again I wouldn't really tend to use. We will take him into Faction Wars shortly as well, but we're going to juice him up a bit more for Faction Wars, as this is hard mode content overall. And I guess we'll take him into Faction Wars normal as well, so you can kind of see some juicy stuff there. So you can see there, like the average teams, like the speed teams, etc., he definitely do the job. And even if you don't have Arbiter, then like bringing an increased attacker with like a Seeker or something could work. And you could definitely use him in lower level arena. And again, for 3 versus 3, actually, I think he offers you a lot because the speed war is going to be nice for one of your 3 teams. And it's not actually that easy to get that. And there is like use for him end of that. Now, unfortunately, it looks like we're just going to get like a ton of weak hits here. But again, you can swap him out or bring 2 choice nukers with him. You don't need 2 CC champions like I've got here. I don't want to steal the spotlight away from him overall. So you just get the kill there overall, which is pretty nice. Let me show you the gear then for like how I'd gear him for arena. And then we'll take him in some P vs E content and juice him up there. So what we've been for just for this is we have got really standard speed of 250. Now again, if you're mid-game content, etc., you're not going to be able to get these stats. So you know, you can go down to like 220, which is perfectly fine for gold 5. Then we have good critical damage of 230. You obviously want 100% critical rate, and then much attack as possible. So you want to focus on speed, critical rate, and then use the optimizer, and it'll give you a balance of attack and critical damage. And if you have a 5-star blessing, the accuracy will just generally come up as well, especially if you're maxing out accuracy first. You can also use a few relics to juice his stats up as well, like necrosis would be good, and the mythic of the tank as well. There is a few others which again I will cover towards the end of the video a bit more in depth about relics and blessings and masteries. So let me go ahead and build him for let me take him into Faction Wars normal, and we kind of just show you what he can do against like the stage 21 on here. Now I don't want to keep the key, unfortunately, so let me just kind of I don't think we've got any champions built for this, so we will throw in him. I want to take the spotlight away from anyone, so I don't want to use like my strong DPS champions because this won't be good, because you guys won't have the champions I've got. So do we have gear for Apothecary? Let me see. We'll just work on something on him, I guess. I guess we'll just leave him like this because again it'll be unrealistic stats if we use anything else. And he's got enough accuracy to do what he wants against the boss. And then I guess we'll throw in a naked champion of Terra. This guy would be naked. Let's just whack this on auto. And you can kind of see what we want to see from this boss. And we'll just whack him on normal. You can see here that there is some stuff, and you can see here one shot the waves, no problem. Again, you can use Tayrel if your gear is not as good. You can use Tayrel to increase your damage for the waves, right? But it'll offer you some damage and it'll offer you some control, right? I mean, that's going to be the main thing. You can double dip. Now, when you double dip with champions, that is quite nice, especially for Faction Wars and Curse City. Which is a thing sometimes we don't always have the choice of. As you see here, AI is a bit dodgy with the stuff, and we will be unfortunately get stuck on this Manny to have a guess that we won't. 183 damage. Now, unfortunately, I do have a max Great Hall, which kind of a bit sucks a little bit, but it is what it is. I can't delete it, unfortunately. And then we'll take him into the wave trial as well. I'll build out a team for the wave trial, and I'll kind of show you what's what on the wave trial for Faction Wars. And I think this is gonna be good. I might do a few more spotlights if this video does well. I might do a few more spotlights to kind of help with like the freeze trials, the stun trials, and etc. Because you don't always need to rely on the CC sets, right? I don't actually rely on any of the CC sets. I try my best to bring the sleep champions, etc., and there will be a few more I'll cover overall. And then we'll try and cover them in other areas as well, so you can get good use out of these champions. Now you can see here we're getting freezed by the boss a little bit, but we are slapping this boss pretty well. It's obviously auto. If your gear is not as good as well, like, you will probably need to do manual a little bit. Obviously we've got no damage mitigation going on, and you can see here we are slapping this boss pretty much done and dusted, even with two champions partially naked, but the ignore defense does a lot. So let me make sure we don't keep this key, because I don't want to waste a key on normal, obviously. So you can see here damage 1.9 in this standard build. Let me go ahead and build a team for hard mode now. All right then, so this is the team we're going to use. Try to use accessible champions as possible. We will do all my 3 keys into one go because I don't have like really good high rate yet with high elf, so I'm not going to be too bothered about this. So you can see here we're going to come in with this team. We'll play the ally attack into Jungwood because we can't CC until we take him out. Then we'll play the defense down, the attack down here. And then we'll play the freeze here. So long as we don't weak it on this guy, sorry, on Eva, we should be able to freeze everyone, right? So can we one shot here? So we're gonna go 300. So you can see there 230, 293k damage with increased attack, critical damage, and defense down. So there is a lot going on there to increase our damage. Obviously you could add protection sets, etc., relics as well. I actually went with multi-death buffs to get a bit more accuracy on him. And then we're going to try to complete these trials as much as possible. Now I've already completed this, and you can bring other 3 champions in to help with this as well. Now we're going to try to CC as much as possible. We don't want to kill too much because we want to try and bring the freeze back around to complete the condition. So obviously if you have a bit more for your Bach, you can definitely do that. You can see there we will do the A1, which we got weak it, then we play the provoke, so we don't got no shenanigans going on here. So how many freezes we've got so far? 3. Now these freeze trials honestly are not easy to do. They are a bit of a pain in the bum if I'm trying to be polite. They're doable, but they are a pain in the bum. So Yeah, anyway, let's play this ability here. So again, we're getting a freeze. This will be number 4. Now again, I would recommend to use Blade Master as well, so you can overlap the two. But you have to deal with the other champion as well, Jingwood, because he'll just cleanse the whole team and it's just annoying. So you can see here, we'll get this back round. Unfortunately, our 9-piece Merciless procs at the wrong time. And again, look what's in the corner there, Jungwood. So ideally, I've messed up on my speeds by the looks of it. So let me go ahead, see if we can play the A3. The damage is decent. I've messed up on the speeds because I've took cycle of what's it called? Cycle of speed, whatever it's called. I can't remember what the mastery is called. Anyway, so we play like this. And world run speed, that's it. It's on a mastery, it gives me increased speed. But again, we will come in here and we will kill him. So we will fail the trials, but you can kind of see what we're trying to do here. And coming through. Again, not easy with Jungwood, right? Again, Jingwood, again in the corner. The ally attack is really important here. Overall, so again, big smackaroo. We may as well see some numbers. We took off like a big chunk of damage here. Obviously, better masteries, etc., would really help you as well. Make sure you're not messing up your speeds like I've done. But again, you can rerun this as well. Again, I didn't take out Jungwood, and then you can see the problem here, which is the same with any freeze, not any freeze, any CC trials. You will get stupid trials like this, and just raid, trying to be raid, I guess, with the RNG. But the ally attack does help you deal with this, because you reduce ally attack, take Jungwood out, and then you'll be able to play freezes, etc. overall. So we'll just do an ally attack again, so we can do our shenanigans. Again, I'm not too worried about this because I'm stuck at like 19 myself. And it's not because I can't do it, it's just because I haven't got time to do it right now. And also because I can't be asked, really. There's no freeze, which is pretty nice. Extra turns with a Merciless. You don't need to go 9-piece Merciless, you can go 6-piece Merciless as well, just to help with the cooldowns a little bit. Again, you can see there as well, there's a lot of good affinity champions as well for this. So you can see here we've done 6, and I've generally messed up the speed, so it could have been well better done. So learn from our mistakes basically. But you can see that he can do the trials if he really wanted. The freezes are consistent. Obviously you have the 3% to deal with. There's not much you can do with that. Obviously you have triple Jingwood, which makes it super difficult as well. But it can be done, and obviously we'll get the 2 stars for today, but the 3 stars is very possible. Jingwood obviously putting out some damage as well at 1.4 million, which is pretty solid. All right then, so we finally geared my Lydia. So let me go ahead in this. I picked a random floor for clearing waves because I wanted to show you for clearing waves. Now you don't need to gear in the way I have. Just use standard old savage gear, which is perfectly fine. And you don't have to worry too much. So obviously when you're doing like stuff like Doom Tower, like mid game, early game, or late game, you want to be using champions who can nuke, but also do damage, but also could do crowd control, right? And that's what we want to kind of showcase in today's video, is crowd control. Now we have 2 weak affinity in here, which is pretty standard. So you can see there we did some good damage. We took out the target, and now you can do your shenanigans overall, like work on your abilities, etc. If my Lydia doesn't kill the waves on her own, and I obviously work on ally attacks, etc., or whatever you wanted to do, or use another NUKER behind him. And obviously if you don't kill because you get weak hit or something like that, then you can do your bits and bobs, right? So obviously you're going to come in with another champions. You would work on your cooldowns, just like in Curse City as well. So again, if you try to use him in Curse City, where we're talking about, I think I have a video on him somewhere on Curse City on the channel. Check out the Curse City playlist. But that might be something we'll look into in the future. I think Curse City is kind of dead content, but it'd be interesting to do. Then we're going to take him out. Obviously, you can see there, strong multipliers coming in. No nuke again, coming in behind him could offer some value. There's no reason to provoke because everyone's frozen. And then you can kind of do your stuff here as well. Come in, do your nukes. Obviously, yours is probably not going to hit as hard as mine. That's okay, because you still have the provoke champion available. So if you don't kill, you can provoke any ends, right? We don't need to worry too much. You won't be able to get the 9-piece merciless, and if you have got 9-piece merciless, then you wouldn't need to watch this part of the video. But I wanted to showcase him from mid-game, early game, and late game as well, which is what I've kind of tried to do in this video, and show reason why you want to grade. Now, when you're grading champions in this game, you want to be trying, especially from a mid-game point of view or early game point of view, you need value in your champions from end-game point of view, because at some point you're going to power creep him with other nukers that will come into account because you're getting for free, or you're getting from shards or fusions, whatever, right? Wherever you get them from, you're going to power creep them. So you don't want to make sure you upgrade useless champions that have no use to you whatsoever. There's also Curse Cities. There is also Doom Tower secret rooms as well. Actually, now I think about it, he's also available in as well. So we'll come in with this, and we'll work with this, and then we'll cover some bits and bobs in his build overall as well. So let's come back to this. All right then, so let's go over some things for his gear. So we'll talk about gear sets first. Let's cover gear sets now. For P vs E content like Faction Wars, Doom Tower, and Curse City, the strongest build would be 9-piece merciless, 6-piece merciless. They're the strongest two. Savage Slayer, no good because it just works on AoEs. It won't work with 2 of his abilities, right? So that's one thing to kind of look in. So you can see here that the gear is not anything crazy from endgame point of view. If you're mid-game, etc., this would be crazy, I can understand. Molten Death Bar, which we'll talk about second, which is just a bit more for accuracy, really. I'll show you the stats from Faction Wars point of view. You want to aim for good speed, at least about 400 accuracy for the stage 9. We've got critical damage here, and then we have good attack as well. And then you're looking for a bit of survivability as well. So let's talk about sets. So if you don't have the merciless, obviously any ignore defense sets would work as well, but you just have to be a bit more careful. So you can go savage, instinct, or lethal, depending on what sets you best on your account. That would also work as well. Let's talk about the relics then. So there's a few areas for relics. Now, if early or mid-game relic, you could just use the Malefic Tank if you have access to it. Now, if you wanted for Faction Wars, more aim at Curse City boss, for Faction War bosses, then you could go ignore it coronets because of the decreased speed on E1. The freezes doesn't work against boss, so you could use this to increase his damage long haul, because that would also work as well. That's just mainly for Faction Wars. Now, if we're talking about like clearing waves or like lower end arena, if you have access to the necrosis, you could use necrosis because you're going to get attack and critical damage, and a wearer will receive extra 20% more damage when you kill an enemy. So like Faction Wars, for clearing waves, Doom Tower, clearing waves, arena, when you're killing people, this is going to be very good. It won't be very beneficial against a boss, because as my understanding is, it resets every time you clear the wave overall, and that could be a budget option. And then obviously the best relic on him, which I can't see anyone doing or whatever reason why you would do it, unless you're really short on nukers, would be the cat gaze. I guess if you're like super end game, you have 6-star blessing, you have no other nukers to use, that could be some use as well. Obviously, when we're talking about blessings, natural ref against clearing waves, etc., is perfectly fine. But you can also come in with, like, I guess this would be the best use would be faction wars, bosses. Now for other ones, you could use cruelty against wave-based clearing as well, which would be good. Obviously, you have 6-star crushing rem as well, which you do have access to as an epic champion. And then I guess that would be the way to also go for arena as well, because you don't have access to that. You could go for Heaven Cast as well if you're stacking up loads of sets on him to increase his damage as well. There you could do like a bit of a damage test with them as well. And obviously for masteries, be careful taking this mastery, because as you can see, it screwed me around with faction wars, so I'd have to reset the masteries or play with champion speeds to increase the rest of the speed. Now I'm not gonna lie, I kind of threw the gear on the rest of the champions, just made sure they're faster. So the gear was a bit unreasonable and not what I normally run for faction wars, but definitely damage for P versus E side could be slightly better. There is no reason to take Master Hex, so you could take something else here. I think all three of them really are kind of pointless. Maybe Snipe to increase the speed, to increase the percentage of landing decreased speed against the boss, I guess would be the way to go, or even Spirit Haste add additional speed if you lose champions. Cycle of Violence, to me, he does do great damage. Cycle of Violence is going to be great. And there's no reason to run like Shield Breaker. I guess for Faction Wars as well, Life Drinker on most nukers would be a good idea on the higher stages as well. Or if you're struggling to keep them alive for whatever reason, could be the way to go, right? So hopefully that kind of gives you guys cover. Kind of explaining a lot of sets, a lot of stuff, a lot of information, depending where you're on the game, and hopefully the information is very clear. We'll work on a few more guides over like this, and we'll trickle them into my schedules. Won't be doing them all the time, but I think it's kind of good to bring some light to epics, especially as a late game player or end game player like myself, talking about P versus E side of content and why to upgrade them. Because again, you don't want to upgrade the champion that has got no use at all. You want to make sure they got some value to account, and there's a lot of good epics in this game as well to kind of choose from. So in specific areas like Curse City, etc., which is the first time I upgraded him, then that is the way to go. As usual, guys, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I've been Grim. Hopefully you enjoy this one. See you on the next one. Take care. Peace.